Hello, it's Liz from Old Stables Crafts. How are you this Saturday? Hope you're doing well. I know some of you have been a bit concerned about a certain fluffy friend, so I will update you on that whilst I show you the Simple Stamping Saturday project, because we have a classic Simple Stamping Saturday project this week. So let me flip the camera down. There we go. I'm using the Filled with Happiness stamp set, which goes with the oval punch. So if you've got the oval punch, then this goes perfectly with it. I'm not using the punch for the simple version, but I will be for the stepped up versions. And I'm using the It's a Good Day to Have a Good Day stamp. But we've also got Happy Birthday, May It Be Filled with Happiness. You're wonderful, just a note, I appreciate you. Hello, miss you, thanks, congratulations, and then this little bit of foliage, which I will be using for my envelope. So the project, indeed there is the little bit on my envelope. This is the project. I'm using a white note card with envelope. So let me show you how I made it. So I've got my stamp. I've got this on an E block. It is quite a large stamp. I tried it on a D block and it was a bit, and on the, I want to say I block, maybe not. Yes, the I block, which is the larger of the two long blocks, it was too wide. So I've gone with E. You're going to think I'm weird. I have got one of our white craft pads that comes uninked, and I've inked it with Memento re-inker. Someone told me that an American, I think, American demo had tried this, and I've been trying it out for a little while. Initially I wasn't getting great results, and then I realised I hadn't actually put enough ink into the ink pad. I think I'm still a little shy of ink, but it's getting better every time I use it. So I've got the piercing mat because this is photopolymer, this is a hard surface, so always good to have your stamping pierce mat. And I'm going to get this as straight and as central as I can. Give it a firm press. You'll notice that I am not letting go, I'm just pressing hard, and we have a really nice, really black inked image. That was the word I was looking for. And then this will just clean up with our normal stamp cleaner. So I am actually liking this now that I've put extra re-inker in. I think this works better than the original Memento ink pad. So it's the Memento ink, but with on the foam stamp pad. It's like I have no brain. I am desperately getting ready for On Stage, which is next week. So this is just a bit of frou-frou for the envelope. Always like a bit of frou-frou for the envelope when we're doing simple stamping. So let's close that up and get my stamps out of the way and put some colour. So I do prefer to leave my Memento ink a little bit longer before I apply colour, and particularly when I'm using the blending brush, blender pen rather, not blending brush, but for speed I'm just going to go for it. So I'm adding Calypso Coral. I've got Pumpkin Pie and Garden Green as well. These are from the assortment 1, and they're in the assortment 1 whether you have the original assortment 1 or the new one that has got slightly different colours in because we removed some of the colours and replaced them with other things. So this is Calypso Coral, and this is just so that we can get some shading on these fruit. I'm thinking of them as oranges, hence I'm going for orange. You may think of them as a different fruit, that is fine. Right, Pumpkin Pie. And I'm going to apply a reasonable amount of, quite a lot apparently, of pigment. The more pigment you add, the darker the effect will be, particularly when you've used the blender pen. I may actually go in and add some more Calypso Coral, because I don't think I've added enough. But we will see. So yes, really excited to be going to Onstage in Rotterdam. And I know, so I've come back with the Calypso Coral, I know there are a few, particularly Canadians, coming over. I kind of worked out, I was a bit confused as to why they weren't going to Houston, which is where Onstage is for North America. And then I realised that flying from particularly the east coast of Canada all the way down to Texas, probably almost as far as coming over to Europe. So it does actually have some logic to it. I need this again. So for the flowers, I'm just adding some of this as well. And the last one. And then I just need to add my green, and as I say, I've chosen garden green. And then we can move the ink around, or the pigment around. I have a confession to make. I haven't used this stamp before today. I bought it ages and ages ago. I think I bought it as pre-order because this is in the spring catalogue. And I haven't used it, which is such a confession. But it is fun. We will find out reasonably soon what is carrying over from the annual catalogue and from the mini catalogue. Those of us that are going to Onstage will get to see a copy of the annual catalogue when we get to Onstage, so that will be exciting. And at that point, obviously, we will know what's not going to be in the catalogue. What we won't know is whether some things that aren't in the catalogue will become online exclusives, because that can happen. So, blender pen, I like to scribble to make sure that it's clean, as in not, so it's got a stained tip, but it's not got any colour coming out of it. So I'm just going to move my pigment around, being careful not to go in one spot too much at once, because you can end up pilling the paper, because this has water in it. It has other things in it as well, but it's not like the alcohol lift, the colour lifter, which is alcohol. This has a mixture of all sorts of things in it. So let's scribble that off and go into the flowers next. Obviously you don't need to do a huge amount with the flowers because they are teeny weeny, but just make sure that you haven't got any obvious lines. And then, having cleaned off again, into the garden green, and it makes the garden green much brighter because it's smoothing out that pigment, and it makes it a really nice bright green, pretty much a Kelly green. So if you're looking for something for St. Patrick's Day, garden green may be your go-to. I think of the greens that we currently have, it's probably going to be your best Irish green. So that is our simple card. So let's just fold that in half and grab my bone folder, because I do like a nice crisp crease. So there we go. So that is our simple card. And let me bring in the stepped up version. So this is the first one. So I've made the most of the punch. So I've stamped the whole stamp onto a piece of basic white and then onto a scrap, and then punched that centre out and popped it up on dimensionals. And I've trimmed my basic white so it's a little smaller than my normal layer, and then the pumpkin pie layer behind, it does work, is actually from the, what's it called? I can't remember what it's called. It's from the annual catalogue. It's one of the papers from the annual catalogue. It's the space one, which of course is going to be on the last page. Stargazing, and it's all lovely and pumpkin pie and bubbly. So rather than a solid pumpkin pie, it's just got a bit of texture to it. I think you can just about see that. And then I've coloured this with blends. So I've used petal pink for the petals, pumpkin pie for the oranges, both light and dark, to get that shading, and then the light mossy meadow for the leaves. And then I've got these ombre, what do we call them, ombre matte decorative dots that have gone over the dot in the punch, and then I've put the large one there and then a small one out. And then my final stepped up version is this one, which, can you see? Yes, you can. Shiny fruit. So I've used the fine tip glue as a sheen, and I've also heat embossed in black for the background stamp. So this layer is just memento, but this is heat embossed with black embossing powder. Now, if you are not in Europe, you may currently not be able to get the embossing powders. We're changing supplier, I gather, so once it's gone in any of the regions, it's not going to be replaced until the new catalogue, but there will be embossing powders in the new catalogue, we are assured. So currently both the metallic and the basics are available in Europe, but they are low inventory, so if you want to top up with the current supplier, now is your moment. Along with, now is your moment, please, to get your in colour items, the 2022-2024 in colours, because they will suddenly go as soon as we've got the new catalogue as as soon as it's pre-order for demonstrators, you will find that in colour items will just go. So you've probably got until the end of March before suddenly everything will go. So get ahead of the curve. I should have said I've used the same paper for this, but I've used a petal pink note card for that, which is why it's slightly different. So I hope you have enjoyed those. There will be close-up photos over on my website. The link to that is in the description bar below. If you've enjoyed the video, a thumbs up is always appreciated. If you've got any questions or comments, you can leave those below the video. And I haven't forgotten to give you a fluffy animal update. So Pepper, who had an accident, well, we think he was in a fight earlier this week, which is why I didn't do a Tuesday live, because we were having to deal with a cat with a limp. He's been to the vets. He has got a bit of a scratch under one of his front arms, kind of in his armpit. Cats don't have armpits, but you understand where. So they think he's probably pulled a muscle. There doesn't appear to be a break. He's on a painkiller, which seems to be doing the job, plus we think time is doing the job as well. So fingers crossed, Pepper Purpot will be fine. He's purring, so he's fine. So yes, that is an update on Pepper. Thank you very much indeed for watching me today. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and I will see you again, all things being equal, on Tuesday. Bye for now.